So we've covered some things about setting goals and why they're important. But at the end of the day, many things change in our lives, so it's important to review our goals so that they remain relevant and help keep us motivated. Firstly, in this video, we're going to look at why reviewing our goals is important, and secondly, how we can review our SMART goals using 2 extra steps. Let's begin. You should hopefully recall that when we set up a goal, we're identifying results that we hope to achieve when we put effort into particular tasks. Basically, goals help us stay motivated because we have something to strive towards. If we're going to stay motivated, we need to make sure that our goals are always motivating us, so we should keep checking that they're relevant. This means that our goals might change over time. After all, our priorities and circumstances change in life. We might make big decisions about the future which can directly affect our goals. Like if we're at the beginning of year 11 and decide to do biology because we really want to become a doctor, but after doing a year of the subject, we realize that we'd much prefer to debate and construct arguments rather than learn about the human body, so we decide to pursue a career in law and drop biology. This is one example of how our lives and interests change, and our goals can change as a result. So at the end of the day, we want our goals to stay relevant so that they can keep us motivated throughout school. Let's figure out how to tell if our goals are motivating us enough. We've spoken about SMART goals before. That is, goals which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We can make these goals even smarter by adding 2 extra steps to help us review them, evaluating and readjusting goals. As we're tracking towards goals, we have to think about how achievable and relevant they are, which is the evaluate part. And if we find they're too out of sync, then we should be changing our goals or strategies for achieving them, depending on that evaluation. This is the readjustment part. This is an extremely personal thing for us to be doing. We might want to review our goals every day, or if we feel like that's overwhelming, maybe every week or month, depending on the size of the goal that we're trying to achieve. Some people will do it once a term, using holidays as the perfect time to think about these things. The only thing that we want to encourage here is that you look at your goals and think about how you're going in terms of reaching them. You should be trying to constantly adjust either the goals themselves or how you're trying to get there. Let's take a look at a couple of different situations to see how this can play out. We know that our goals should be ambitious, otherwise we won't be motivated to push ourselves. But sometimes it can feel like we're climbing a mountain and getting nowhere, which means that the goal can be unrealistically difficult. This can also be dangerous because we suddenly feel like we're not doing enough and we start overworking ourselves and risk burning out. If, in evaluating a goal, we realize that it's simply unrealistic or causing us to adopt unhealthy study habits, then maybe we should readjust it and revise the goal downwards a little. There's definitely no shame in pulling back from our goals rather than burning ourselves out. When we make them, we can sometimes be optimistic or have not enough information to know whether it's realistic. And this also works the other way. If the goal is too easy and we're all of a sudden smashing all of our maths exams, maybe we need to revise that up a bit and take on new challenges. It's also important to remember that our goals don't occur in a vacuum. We all probably have many different things that we want to achieve. Maybe we want to get into a certain university degree, but we also want to improve a certain sport and do other activities outside of school in the community. But these goals aren't always going to be relevant all the time. At the beginning of the year, when there's little exam pressure, we might focus more on our other goals. But as we get closer to exams, we put our other activities to the side and focus on our academics. In other words, sometimes we need to constantly evaluate how important our goal is at that particular moment in time and adjust our actions accordingly. It's also important to remember that readjusting our goals isn't only about chopping them and changing them. Sometimes it's enough to change how we go about achieving them. For example, we might be consistently getting 70% in our biology when our goal is to get 75. But it might not be because that goal is too difficult. Instead, we might be scoring lower marks because our strategy for achieving that goal is not quite in line. For example, we might only study in groups and get distracted easily, so we can try studying independently to see if that makes a difference. There might be room to move. So whether we change our strategy or our overall goal, it's really important to keep reviewing our goals so that they can help keep us motivated. On that note, let's revisit what we've just learned. feel free to pause this video and think about the answers to these questions as a recap. We learned that goals aren't fixed because our priorities and circumstances change. So from time to time, we should review our goals by evaluating and readjusting them. This means thinking about how well we're achieving our goals and how relevant they are, and whether that means we should be adjusting the goals themselves or the strategies that we're using to achieve them. Doing this will help keep us motivated throughout the year. Awesome. See you all next time.